know why, but you are watching the Madness Comic Network. Are you mental?
Beyond the world we know is a place where reality bends and time stands still. A place where legends, fairy tales, and nightmares are real. A world where legends are born and destinies collide. Alice has spent her life lost in an interdimensional rift known as Wonderland, and it forged her into a deadly bounty hunter. With her ancient clockwork guardian Big Ten by her side, they hunt the things that stalk the shadows of Wonderland. Alice Lost in Wonderland, issues 1 and 2 launch May 6 on Kickstarter. Follow along at GoMrFish.com.
In the heart of a major city, in a place raised to honor Earth's past protectors, the world will again learn, sometimes, superpowered intrigue doesn't stop at the grave. Galaxy Memorial Park, Volume 1, beginning crowdfunding Memorial Day 2025.
It's Flip City Magazine, The Parodies, Special Edition, with savage send-ups of The Walking Dead, Star Trek Picard, Stranger Things, The Mandalorian, Guardians of the Galaxy, and more from the first 4 years of Flip City. Get Flip City The Parodies free when you subscribe in print at flipcitymag.com. The world's best satire magazine, and never, ever woke.
Are we on?
That was weird, man. I just totally got blacked out. Fucking StreamYard. Couldn't see what was going on at all.
Yeah.
I still had one more to play. Yours. I still had one more to play. Yours. To open
play it. Play it.
Eva, created to be the bride of Frankenstein, a patchwork woman built from flesh, haunted by her impulsive nature, starving for something more, suffering from the aftermath of her uncontrollable impulses. She believed becoming a vampire would make her whole. And in the darkness of the deep Carpathian night, the brides were waiting. Brides is a gothic horror graphic novella A story of bloody ambitions, broken bodies, and a woman who dares to remake herself. 40 pages of handcrafted art and sorrow, expanded to 64 with your help. Variant covers, sculpted collectibles, and one beautiful, tragic monster you'll never forget. Won't you join me in reimagining classic Gothic horror by backing the relaunch of Brides here on Kickstarter?
Woo!
Yeah, good stuff. All right.
Oh,
Before you get started, I want to do a little shout out to our boy Max DeVille, who had another stroke, and I'm hoping he's actually. This was so shitty of a situation. He had just moved to Chicago, has no friends there, has a very old dog that he can't just leave and go to the hospital and be gone for days, right? So he's in a position where it's like he has to put his dog down and then go to the hospital. Like, how shitty is that, guys? So, some support out there for Max, little love for Max, because he's just having a shit fucking time right now, man.
yeah. Strokes are no bullshit.
He lost the feeling in his left hand. He can't move his left hand. Sound familiar?
Yeah. That's a familiar story. That's what 4 people on this channel now.
Yeah. It's like the fucking stroke club up in here.
Pretty much.
And I'm the only golfer. You know what I mean?
Oh shit. Somewhere that there's a joke about Pop's channel and strokes, but I guess maybe you started an adult channel, Pops, maybe go start an OnlyFans because of all the stroking.
No, it'll be a golf. It'll be a golf channel. It'll be a different kind of strokes, bro.
Oh shit.
I'll leave the adult stuff to you guys. I'll keep it sporty.
Yeah, no, that ain't my thing. Not my jam.
Yeah, little love out to Max, y'all, because that's fucked up.
Well, I was just peeking over here and I noticed a little area on this thing that I forgot to finish out. So I'm just going to reach over there and finish that out. Because I've had this thing for a long time of doing just blackened blood. Because when something's bleeding, blood, it ain't red really until it gets some oxygen. So,
yeah. I know. I opened myself up last night, and of course it's one of my hands, right? And I have to play golf on Saturday, so can't play golf without a little pain. Gotta have the gotta make it as difficult as possible.
That's messed up.
I reached down in the sink to pull the plug, man, and caught a knife right on the fucking tip of my index finger. That shit opened up, started spewing blood everywhere. I wrapped it up all tight and it stopped. And then I took the bandage off and started again. And I put a different bandage on and it was okay. I took the bandage off and started bleeding again. I'm like, oh, this ain't gonna be no fucking good. So having fun. Yeah. I like the angle. I like the traditional. Check it out, y'all. He's playing slinging some meat.
Yeah. Well, I was gone to Louisville for the holiday weekend and everything, and decided to take some stuff with me and work on some of the final pages of Brides. There's only a couple of pages that aren't done yet, and all the interiors will be done by the time the Kickstarter wraps up this Saturday.
And Saturday I'll be on the golf course.
Well, Saturday I will be celebrating the closure of this fine Kickstarter.
That's what I was going to suggest. What time does it end?
It ends around noon on Saturday, and it's sorry, my ear was itching. I'll be at Nirvana Comics in Knoxville with my buddies from Resolute Bliss Publishing.
Mhm.
And because as this one closes, another one has opened for a book called Paradox. That it's their Kickstarter, their publishers on it, and I've done a truckload of artwork inside it. I drew the last 3.5 issues, 6-issue series. I drew 3.5 issues of it, did painted covers for it, did a bunch of stuff. So, and that one's wild because it's a book that I've got to work on and got to have some interesting cover contributions for this book. So this Paradox has covers from Jay Lee and who else? Let's see. There's Jay Lee and let's see. Okay, gotta think. There's because Paradox actually as a series first started to come out about 30 years ago, and then there were some reasons that they pulled back from publishing, and then everybody went their separate ways, and they came back together to relaunch everything kind of recently. So they anyway, they had some things left from back then, including cover from Boris Vallejo. I think they got one from Julie Bell. They got, let's see, a couple that were really interesting because these guys are no longer with us. Is they have one from Stephen Hughes, and then one from Drew Hayes. So yeah, and so that's kind of interesting. Kind of weird for me to be working on a book that has like covers coming from dudes that I knew a long time ago who are no longer here. But
no, see, that's what's cool. It's like their art lives on.
Yeah, it's a little weird in a way, but I mean in a good way. It can be a little eerie, when you're going through and working on a book and you look over and there's like artwork from guys you knew who are no longer here. It's an odd feeling, but anyway. Yeah, they got those, and then of course my painted covers for the stuff. Jay Lee's doing a bunch of stuff with it, and that's kind of cool.
Well, give a shout out to somebody over on X right now. Internet Comic Database sharing us out, sharing the stream out. Thank you. We appreciate the reach extension. That's what it's all about, guys.
That is cool, man. That is very cool. See, I'm just going to start popping some of these pages up here. This is actually from a live stream I did the other night. For those who are familiar, it's another network. I can't remember the damn name of the network, but it's Mog and Mel's sketch stream, something like that. And
oh yeah, I know who Mog is. You know that.
Yeah. Mog and Mel had me on again the other night, and I did this one, which it will be going out in the mail because it auctioned off, and I don't like telling people auction amounts just because it seems like private information in a way. Even though it was public auction, I don't like to bring that stuff back up. But I'm very happy with what it went for, and the individual who purchased that will be receiving it very, very soon. Then,
oh man, I forgot to. I didn't even do. Man, see, I've been so whacked out at things lately, so I'm so overwhelmed that. I got a package yesterday, and I didn't even do an unboxing. Well, I mean, part of it's stuff for giveaways for the con, and I didn't want to be, I don't know. I wanted to be surprised for that stuff at the con that I give away, right?
I got you.
Suffice it to say, I got a package from Levi.
Oh, cool.
Levi sent me some shirts. Levi sent me some ash cans. Levi sent me a crap ton of prints. So I'm gonna be giving some stuff away on Sunday.
Nice.
Right? I mean, this was like a 20-something pound box, man. It wasn't no light box. There's some shit in there, yo. So I was like, holy crap. But I mean, I'm gonna save some to give away at DitcoCon too. I'm not gonna
when you said something about a 20-pound box, it just made me think of an old girlfriend.
Whoa. Something like she had a front butt. No. What is up? Thank you, ICD, for going out there and dropping that link, sharing us out on X. We appreciate you. It's all about. Got Ghost Pepper hanging out. Got Ghost Pepper hanging out over on Build too.
Cool. Let's see. I'm seeing 23 folks watching today. That's cool.
That's so. It's early. It's a lot of X people trying to wake up the rest of the world. The one thing though, that little counter doesn't count Pilled. It doesn't count Rumble. We get a lot of views on those two platforms. So I'm really surprised by the amount of views we get on Rumble, because we don't have, I mean, I got 80 followers. It's not like I have a huge following over there, but we definitely get freaking views over there. I like it. They like art.
I really ought to spend more time on Rumble. I'm bad.
Well, I mean, we just put everything up everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And, it's, you can tell the difference, like which platforms pay more attention to what kind of shows. You know what I mean? Some of them like the interview formats. Some of them like the art formats more. And you can tell because you get more views on that platform for that kind of stuff than you do the others, right? So it's like I'm learning where exactly to place it to get stuff in front of the people that want to see it, And
oh, that's cool.
That's part of the Roku push, right? Because that's an untapped audience over there.
Oh yeah, man.
We draw some people in to look at a menu of shows, and just like Netflix or any other streaming platform, once you get sucked in, you're there looking to see what they got, right? Once you're there, you got to look at the menu. Oh, these guys got this kind of stuff and this kind of stuff, and before you know it, you're gonna have us a little following over there. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, man.
Just got to get Max healthy. Just got to get Max healthy. Look, Max is my guy. I want him to build this thing. Not saying we couldn't do it right now ourselves, but it wouldn't be as efficient. It wouldn't look as good, and I wouldn't be as confident in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know Max can
how
do
that goes.
I know Max can do this. This is what he's done it before. It's what he does, right? Rather than be over there playing hit or miss, I'd rather go in with the fucking team that can make it happen the first time and do it right.
Oh yeah, I know how that stuff goes.
And Kaz and I feel the same way. We both rather have Max do the work.
Well, that will be a wonderful day, man. We'll see. Hopefully, dude's back up and running before too long.
Yeah, Max, quit it. Quit trying to kill yourself. It's not. No, I mean, look, man, you guys all been my friends for a long time. I get all up in my feels a little bit when I find out when he is having an issue.
Yeah.
What's up, Dustin?
It happens.
Got Dustin up in here. I'm gonna drop the link to this campaign over in the chat.
Which campaign?
Yours.
Oh, good. Good man.
Your show. We played the ads. We took care of the people. Now we take care of you. And that's another thing. When I go to Roku, I'm going to be flipping the ads to the end of the show.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Or, I mean, the showrunner themselves, if they want to, like, pop somebody's ad up, trailer up, whatever, I don't care. During the show, that's fine. But I'm going to be putting them flipping it around and putting them at the end of the show, because Roku already plays 2 ads before they even let you see what you clicked on, right? I'm not going to make you watch 4 more before you can see what you click on. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to move that to the end of the show. You're going to go right from the Roku ad to the show intro. And that's another thing I want to get with you. We got to make you a nice show intro that grabs people and makes them want to sit here and watch.
Oh yeah. Well, let me get on the other side of this this Kickstarter.
Yeah. Oh shit. I got to get on the other side of this con and golf thing this weekend before. That's what I mean. I'm kind of overwhelmed this week because I have 2 live events on Saturday and Sunday, and that takes me away from here. I got to have other people running shows, and you know what I mean? It's like I get all fucking freaked out when I'm not the guy.
I get you, man. I get you. Yep. Oh yeah.
I just like to be able to see what's going on, and I mean, even if it's not my show, like the Silver Line Show or something, it's like I'm still over here watching, keeping an eye on the chat and monitoring what's going on because I'm interested in what's going on. Every time one of these guys does a new show, they might have something new that they're talking about. If I'm not paying attention, I'm missing out on the shit going on my own network. I mean, it's understandable if I miss stuff going on outside the network. It's not forgivable if I miss stuff going on inside the network. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, dude. I get you. I get you.
But now, there's your link, people. And if at any time you want to pull it up and run through it, if you want to do that at the end of the show or something, we can do that. I have it queued up. So.
Cool. Very nice. Very nice.
Now I'm going to let you have your show.
Well, I am sitting here just making some last minute little tweaks on these pages as I look back at them, get them all set up and ready to go. Oh, damn it.
That's not what I wanted to do. What the hell
It's
happened?
funny, man. Here it in. Oh man.
Where?
Yeah, I've been in straight up ink zen mode for a few days now. And just pumping the stuff out, man. So, and here's a page that was a lot of fun. And there's a method that I have for adding snow. There's snow falling in these scenes. And I'm actually adding a lot of the snow digitally after the fact on some of these pages. So this one doesn't have all the snow and stuff on it, but that's a fun page. That's the first time that you see my version of good old classic Dracula in here. So, big boy like that got to make an entrance. Put this over here. And, most of this book's been done digitally. But, I figured I'd have me a few pages. This weekend I would do a few pages traditional and see if we can't make these available to folks. Because one of the reasons I like working digital, and this is so stupid practical, is that, the more physical pages I do, the more storage space I need for them. Like, people don't realize how much space these 11 by 17 pieces of artwork take up. And when you're busting out as much of this stuff as I am, like, you end up with stacks and stacks of these things. So I'm just like, man, I had somebody ask me once, they're like, man, you sell some of your pages so cheap. I was like, just get it out of my shop. Like, just get it. Just get it gone. So anywho, yeah, that's a little bit of what's up. I'll put this one back up because I like seeing those together. My boy and Eva finally meet up. And that's it's a big build up in the book to where they meet up, and I'm very happy with how it's coming out. So, and then that 2-page spread was a lot of fun. Oh, so that's arguably the key moment of the entire book that you get to see right there. So, you know, I don't mind letting folks see this on the stream. I think it's kind of special. So you got all 3 of his brides giving their vampire blood to Eva. And the whole big question is what's going to happen when she takes that stuff in, you know, because she's not really human. She's an amalgam thing. She's made up of different bodies of people and so on. And, you know,
she's a Frankenhoe.
Yeah, she's a Frankenhoe. Yeah. She's, you know, there's the end result of that is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So I got a handful of things coming up with this that I am not able to announce until Saturday when we close it all out. But there's some good things coming for brides, a number of good things coming. Some of it Charles has been working on while he was out in Vegas. Some of it I've been working on behind the scenes with different folks. And yeah, I'm real happy with the way that things are turning out for brides. And I think the Kickstarter, yeah, we're at 12,000
hours left.
71 hours.
71 backers. $12,565.
Yep.
Right now.
Not too shabby for my first Kickstarter.
$2,500 past goal, which is cool. You busted the 100 backer mark. That's always cool. With 71 hours left and going by Kickstarter's usual projections, you're probably going to be somewhere near 125 backers.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, the 100.
There's always those people that wait till the end because they don't know if they're going to have money or not. People like me.
I figure there's probably people waiting to the end too. I figure there's a lot of people who are like, okay, I'll check back in 25 days to see if it got funded, so I know if the thing I'm interested in getting is going to happen.
That's what I mean. There's factors involved, right? But if somebody really wants something, they get on board to make sure it gets funded.
Yeah, that's
know?
true.
Really,
it's like there are those people who are ready to pull the trigger on things, and there are those people who are like, well, I'm not going to do it until I know for sure that it's going to happen. So, yeah, it's kind of funny.
Well, I mean, and that's the whole thing. It's like with Kickstarter, though, you're protected from that. Because if you pledge and it don't happen, they never take your money anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so no big deal,
right? I wonder how many people there are out there who don't realize that that's how it works.
Dude, we used to explain that in every show, and it was like finally it was like, you know what? I don't know by now. We can't keep bogging down every show with how this works, you know?
Oh yeah.
And we did that, man, for a while, right? Back in the beginning. It was like every show, you'd have people go, how come it's not on Indiegogo? And then you'd have to explain the difference between the two. And it was like, one of them takes your money now, one of them doesn't.
Mm.
You know, and to me, that would make more sense on Indiegogo to wait until you knew it was funded, because they can just take your money, never do nothing, right? You know,
oh, I can see that.
It's like they're already getting paid. Why do they need to work?
Mm.
I never liked the whole Indiegogo way it was set up. I didn't like the fact that they shadow banned people or any of that. It's just not a cool platform.
Yeah, I legit don't know anything about Indiegogo. I'm just like, man, I'm doing Kickstarter. You know, that's enough.
Fund my comics growing into quite the little platform.
I'm curious about it. I've looked at it a couple times, thought about working with it.
It's the only one that's easy to do. because you actually get a human. You actually talk to a human. There's no AI bullshit. You get a real person when you have an issue, and they handle it. You see?
Yeah. It's
I can't figure out how to do this on your platform. They're like, "Oh, this is how you do it." And you get it from a human. You get to actually talk to somebody that helps you, that will walk you through setting it up, right? As opposed to emailing Kickstarter and hoping you get a reply sometime this week.
mm-hmm.
You see the difference? It's like there's actually humans taking care of that platform,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Luke did that right. I really liked it. Every time I've seen an issue or somebody's pointed an issue out to me, I'd go to Luke. It gets fixed right away. There's no, you know what I mean? I have had 0 bad issues with Luke, even when it comes to bad actors and stuff. He catches them, he removes them. And I mean bad actors. I don't mean people who had a boob book that somebody complained about. I mean actual bad actors, right?
No, yeah.
People with no intention of supplying you a product. They're just trying to steal your money, There's been a few.
There's a look at
we
what
catch
some
them.
of the interiors are going to look like once the colors are finished. Very happy with that.
All right, I'm just going to have to move StreamYard to my main screen so I can see that better. Oh, yeah, that does look good.
There you go.
Because on the laptop screen, that is so small, dude.
There we go. See if I can't blow that up a little bit. That's a good size for that. Should show up pretty well.
See, I just got this thing for hot chicks and wolves. So, if you know what I'm saying, it's like, yeah, I kind of like those things.
Don't we all, man? Don't we all? Don't we all? Well, I'm very pleased with where we're at so far. I think it's been a good thing. I can't complain. Cannot complain. It's been an interesting saga getting this whole thing together, which I'm not going to go back into any of that stuff, but I'm very happy with where it's landed.
I've only had a couple people go, I can't back that. It's from them people, and I went, not anymore.
No. I ain't bringing. We don't touch any of that stuff. That's nothing. I don't even need to go there.
I just corrected them. That's all.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, yes,
that's
you.
fine. No,
I said, yes,
this is under my steam at this point, and
yeah, that's all it was said. Just like that.
I think in the end, that's the best thing, because I don't know, like, it's just interesting for me. It's like sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. So, and I have this way of looking at things. It's like, oftentimes the things that don't work out lead you to learning something or learning a new skill or figuring, it just gets you to a point where it's like, oh, okay, and I'm pretty comfortable now that that as I need to do these things in the future, I'll be fine with it. So, in the end, that really has worked out for the best. I'm happy about that. So, and
I know I'm happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I legitimately have no ill will toward anyone involved with any part of things. And in the end, everybody's getting what they want. Everybody's getting their things, and I'm getting my book out, and it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
I get to promote a friend's book. I'm cool with that.
Man, I've been really, really pleased with the support that I'm getting on this book, and there's a lot of folks who I run into who are like, yeah, I really want it, but I don't do Kickstarter. I hear a lot of that. Like,
yeah,
I'm doing,
that's why I suggest Fund My Comic is a backup place to put everything you do, guys.
Well,
everything you do.
I mean, it's not just Kickstarter. Like, there's a lot of people who are just still skeptical of crowdfunding.
Right. And there's a lot of people that will only use one platform because they've had success with that one platform, and they heard horror stories about the other one. And you know what I mean? It's like there's people that will only use Indiegogo. There's people that will only use Kickstarter.
Yep.
I don't know of anybody that only uses Fund My Comic, but eventually I'm sure there's people that are going to only buy books on Fund My Comic. You know, I mean,
give it time.
People are sticklers about bad things happening. Do you remember a couple years ago when somebody stole Pete Sametti's whole fucking campaign and put it up on Kickstarter? They just copied it from Indiegogo and put it up on Kickstarter, right? And the goddamn thing made $12,000 before they could even get Kickstarter to take it down, and everybody knew it was fake. Everybody was telling fucking, like, that's not Pete Sametti. They're a totally different name as a creator. Pete Sametti's art, Pete Sametti's book, everything, right? And people are like telling Kickstarter. It took them like 8 days before they took the goddamn thing down. It was like, that blew a whole bunch of people out of Kickstarter right there.
It's interesting to me how I think that it looks to me like there's probably a number of ways that someone could pretty easily scam the whole system.
Yeah, that's what they were trying to. I mean, I'm sure a couple of people got away with it before people caught on that it was even happening, right? I know when I saw Pete's book on Kickstarter, I knew that was bullshit because he don't use Kickstarter. And then when I looked at the campaign, it didn't have Pete's name on it. And that was when we all just went tagging Kickstarter everywhere. That's a bullshit campaign. That motherfucking scammer, right? Everybody went after it, but it still took days for them to take that campaign down. It's like, that's a 2-minute research. It took me all of 2 minutes. It didn't take me at all. I knew it was Pete stuff. It didn't take me at all, right? I knew it was fake.
Man.
Anybody that knows anything could have found that out. If they didn't know anything about Pete Sametti at all, that was a 2-minute research. You do an image fucking search, boom. Oh, Pete Sametti. Right? That's how long it would have took them to research that, realize that that was not a legitimate campaign.
Yeah, that's, stuff like that, is bound to happen, and that's going to be, it's funny to me, a lot of these kind of companies like Kickstarter and whatever, they're not going to do a lot of due diligence on that stuff unless people just hold their feet to the fire. So,
unless it's something that somebody wants taken down, if it's something somebody wants taken down, then they just do one of them email campaigns. Poof, Mike Barron, your stuff's removed.
Oof.
Yeah, see, that's the other reason I don't like Kickstarter, is because they took down Private American on the pretense that somebody said it was a racist book. Nobody had ever read it. It hadn't been released yet.
They're probably just saying it. That's probably somebody just doing political BS because they didn't like, Mike's politics one way or another.
Yeah, but the whole thing is that they did an actual fucking campaign to get this book removed, and it wasn't anything that they said it was. And Kickstarter caved to an email campaign by a bunch of blue-haired bitches. It was crazy.
It doesn't surprise me that Kickstarter would cave to something like that, though. It doesn't.
But there was no proof. There was absolutely zero proof. Nobody had seen the inside of the book.
Unless you were living on Mars in the last 8 years, you know how that stuff's going to go. And hopefully we're coming out the other end of that right now. I think things are looking better. I'm going to tell myself things are looking better. It may be naive, but you know what? If I'm thinking positively about things, then it helps take some of the stress off. So,
it really cracks me up the most about Kickstarter. Everybody's boob book is just fine until somebody complains about a boob book. Then that one boob book gets messed with, but none of the other ones do.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? It's like they don't even have a fucking realistic oversight at all.
That's common. I mean, I've been involved in enough stuff, enough different, similar sort of industries. Think of Kickstarter's basically, in my mind, what in the 3D world we would call a brokerage. I mean, they're basically brokering your product, and right. I mean that's what most of these sort of things are. It's a new kind of middleman.
As marketplace, yeah.
I haven't seen a single time that there is a brokerage or a middleman of some sort who will. The squeaky wheel will always get the grease. So if somebody complains, somebody raises enough stink, they'll probably look at the specific thing getting a stink put on it and be like, oh, here you go. But they're not going to touch anything else unless somebody brings it up to them. And that's just how it is. Personally, I'm like, you do you, boo. It's like you put out the books you want to put out. And
well, see, that's the other thing about Fund My Comic. There's no email campaign that will get Luke to take something down unless it's criminal.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's criminal or like pornographic, he probably ain't gonna let you put it on Fund My Comic. But there ain't nobody gonna go say, hey, Les's book is blah 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 blah. You need to take that down. Luke's gonna give him the fucking finger. That's why I love Fund My Comic. That's the original pretense it was built on. That was the concept it was built on. There is not, and it was partially part of things like what happened to Mike Barry. Okay, where Kickstarter removed his book. It was bullshit. And Luke timely came along and said, we're going to build something that doesn't do that to our friends.
Well, the interesting thing to me about all of it and how the industry's going with this stuff is that if Kickstarter is definitely, unless I'm totally mistaken, they are definitely the big dog in all of it.
Definitely. They're the big dog.
And it's interesting that the biggest dog in all of it, probably looking at them more broadly, I'd be curious to see what portion of their overall revenue is from comics. Because I
talk about that stuff all the time. Comics are small potatoes on Kickstarter.
That's what I was going to say. It's like Kickstarter's big to us, but we're tiny to it. So
yeah,
that's probably part of it. Is that somebody complains, Kickstarter's like, oh God, it's these guys again.
And this is the other thing that cracks me up. It's on my comic. There ain't no lawn chairs. There ain't no fucking prototype motors. There ain't no dumb shit. It's comics. It's a site built for you guys. The only people going there to buy stuff are going there to buy comics. They're not looking for potted plants. They're not looking for whatever the fuck else Kickstarter has, which is every goddamn thing.
Oh, yeah.
People going to Fund My Comic are going there because they know that's where the comics, independent comics are. And the more we get lined up over there, the bigger fucking choice that people have to choose from. That's a bigger option. More options.
Let's see. curious.
If Kickstarter was just a comic platform, it would still be the same. It would be like, man, you guys need to fix this and this and this, and you need to make this easier, and you need to not cave to the crowd. You not cave to mob rule bullshit. You need to this and this and this. But they don't care because comics ain't what they make their money off of. You know?
Yep.
They don't care.
I am looking something up real quick. So let's see. Out of total Kickstarter revenue. Sometimes I have to switch over and voice type because typing with one hand sucks.
I know.
I got data for 2023. It's pretty interesting. That is interesting. Funny. So, project here still successful. Weird, huh? That's interesting. 2023, it's most recent data, really solid looking data I can get. So, the top 4 categories on Kickstarter were film and video, music, publishing, and games. And then number 5 is technology. That's interesting.
Dude, we are an entertainment-driven economy. Why does that surprise you?
Oh, no, it's just interesting because there's other things that I'm curious about with Kickstarter. Very interesting.
I mean, that to me, that doesn't surprise me at all. Our whole economy is driven by entertainment and services. You know?
Yeah, comics is definitely down in the back third of Kickstarter.
Down
Although
there with
it's growing.
Down there with the furries and the gays. According to Karen, you know, that's where the furries Oh, shit. That reminds me, we have a new episode of Killer Karen on Friday. A new episode.
Gotcha.
Mr. Fringe, the lead vocalist and guitarist for the band Lunatics Fringe.
Nice.
And Dante and Karen will be interviewing him.
Very, very cool.
It was interesting, to say the least. From what I seen on the editing room floor, it was interesting. You know, we had to cut some stuff. That freaking Fringe dude is crazy. Yeah, we definitely had to leave some on the cutting room floor this time. Hey, if we had to leave it on the cutting room floor for Killer Karen,
that's definitely
it was out there, right?
That is saying something.
And Dante will be golfing with him this weekend. They established a bond.
Nice. Yeah, I think my energy is a little bit low today because I'm still coming off the long weekend in Louisville. But it's a good day. I think I'm kind of hanging back a little bit, trying to build up so that I'm not a complete turd come Saturday, because we're going to be in Knoxville and that's going to be an interesting day. Got a lot going on. So who we got in the chat? Anything interesting going on over there?
Oh, Greg will popped in a minute ago. And Dustin from Geekman.
Let's see.
Still got, the ghost. The ghost is over on Bill, holding it down over there.
Nice.
Window open. Because I'm paying attention. Let's see. It's about Rumble. 8 views so far over on Rumble. 2 people still watching right now. That's a gigantic Rumble channel of 80 people. Hey, man, sometimes we get 100 views over there. And I'm like, why don't you people sub or follow? You know, I get all these extra people checking it out. Well, go ahead and follow.
They're like, no, I won't sub. I won't sub.
It cracks me up because it doesn't matter how many people you catch watching on Rumble. As soon as you say hi to the people watching on Rumble, they scatter like.
That's funny, man. Yeah,
right now, there's 3 people. There's 3 people watching on Rumble right now. I suppose I'm counted as one of them. So there's 2 other people. Hello, people on Rumble. What's happening? Say hi over there in the chat. Just
like, oh, you see me. You see me. Oh, no.
Just let me know you're there, bro. Let me know who's watching. So
I have to confess, I'm not a big fan of Rumble's overall interface. I mean, that's the main reason that I'm not like a heavy adopter of it. It's just their interface is, I don't know, it just seems weird to me.
Yeah, I just set shows up there. I don't pay no attention. As soon as somebody, it's like Kaz is the one that set me up so I could go to Rumble and Pilled, right? And as soon as he explained to me how to do it with the freaking stream keys and stuff like that, it was like, okay, poof, we've been on Rumble and Pilled ever since, you know.
Yep.
Oh,
let's see.
Yeah.
We will be closing down the Kickstarter at 12:27 p.m. on Saturday, May 31st. So there you go.
What's up, Values TV? What's happening?
Nice art, reminds me of stuff in old heavy metal magazines. Well, there are good reasons for that.
Yeah.
I think I was weaned on a lot of that stuff, like old Richard Corbin, and good God, one of my big ones, and I think his influence shows up in some of the stuff in this, though it wasn't as conscious as it is some other times. Was Esteban Maroto.
Go ahead.
Esteban Maroto is just an amazing artist. I wonder if I could find any of his stuff floating around and just show y'all some. Let's see.
Now, since it appears that Valius TV might be one of those kind of guys like me that gathers people together and tries to get them seen, I just gave you a wrench, bro. Drop a link to your stuff, to other people's stuff you're trying to help get seen, whatever. That's what this channel is all about, getting people seen. Just like you see it right there below, it says drop questions, drop links, comments, whatever. I'm out here trying to get people seen, so do the thing. You got stuff to show off too. That's why we're here. Plenty of shows you can come out and be on and talk about what you do too.
Yeah, let's see here. I am let's see. Hold on, let me open this open an image. Here's a new tab.
How you says peak art. Yes, it is.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Appreciate
that a great deal.
Best, man. Les is one of the best. One of the best in indies right now.
I appreciate that very much. And let's see here now. I'm just over here right now actually trying to put together some tabs of stuff from one of my big influences, Esteban Maroto, because Esteban is amazing.
And I wasn't just spewing shit, people. Les is one of the best in indie comics right now, and I challenge anybody to argue that. Anybody.
Thank you. It is appreciated. Man, I've been pounding this stuff a long time. Long time.
He said, how long have you been drawing?
Let's see.
Forever. Forever.
There you go. Let's just let's see here. Transform. Fit the screen. There we go. There's a piece of Esteban Maroto art. And there you go. Can you see that one all right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's an old Esteban Maroto He-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, just amazing. And then this kind of stuff, you know. That's some of his pencils, man. It's a really good, just a really good look at his stuff. And I think, like, it blows my mind when a lot of people don't know who he is, and I toss him out as one of my influences. A lot of folks are like, "Who is that? Who is that?" And I'm just like, "Oh, dude, here you go." Yes, Esteban Maroto. He's an Italian guy. He did some amazing.
How long have you been drawing?
How long have I been drawing?
Yeah.
In a disciplined, dedicated sense, probably since I was about 5. So pretty much my whole damn life.
And that's why he's so damn good.
I've been drawing long enough that the thought of paying my bills with anything else at this point is just kind of silly. Like, it ain't going to happen. It's like, I better be paying my bills with artwork, because I pretty much ain't good for much else beyond that these days.
Yeah, it does show. He's look. I'm not the guy who goes out there and blows up somebody that don't deserve it. I definitely am not the guy that does that. If I tell you somebody's bomb at what they do, chances are they're bomb at what they do. You won't see me. I don't do reviews, right? Because I'm a promoter. And it's not cool to be hyping something up at one end, find out at the other end that, oh, the product wasn't that good. You know, it's like, so I don't review. I promote. I try to get people seen, and it's up to you to go look at their campaign, decide whether or not you like the story concept, the art, and whether or not you buy it. I just try to make sure everybody knows it exists, right? That's my job.
Oh, yeah.
You know, make sure people know it's out there. But when I run into somebody like Les, and I'm like, holy fuck, it's Bernie Wrightson. You know, I mean, the first time I saw one of Les's pieces, that was the first thing I thought was, this dude is on that level. And I'm like, holy crap, man. And then I got to know him, and I found out the stuff he's gone through over the last few years, and he's still and y'all just don't know.
See, Valius says, what do you prefer, paper or digital? Honestly, it just, from day to day, it changes. I mean, in a production sense, prefer digital. There's a lot of advantages to it. I mean, revisions are faster and easier. And if I'm coloring my own stuff, which I kind of want to have my boy Nathan come in and do some colors on this, but then I've already done like 8 pages of it, and I really kind of like what I'm doing with it. We'll see. We'll see. There's, you know, and then I've got to talk to him about his schedule, so I may end up doing colors on this. But if I'm doing my own colors, I actually prefer to have done everything digital, because there are tricks that I can pull when I'm doing the artwork digital, where I will have characters on certain layers and things. There's organizational stuff that'll come with the layering, so that you know, one of the big tricks is like you look at this page here with Dracula on it, right? If I have put everything that's him on its own layer, and it's filled in with black and white, you know, it's black and white pixels and transparent everywhere that he's not, if I hold the control key down, I can click that layer and make a selection of it. And then that will allow me to flat and color over that just so fast, because I'm not having to stay inside the lines. I can do, 2/3 of the coloring with a lasso tool at that point. So, and these are things that I think I've touched on some of this before on the channel when I'm doing like tips and tricks and stuff like that. And, if it's the kind of stuff y'all are interested in, let me know and I'll make sure that we come back and do more of that. But, there's especially using Clip Studio Paint. Clip Studio Paint is bar none the best production tool in comics. It's a game changer. So I love that program. It's like, even if I draw on paper, the stuff still goes into Clip Studio. Like, again, this Dracula page that I'm showing here, the one where he's the big 2-panel page that's his entrance. That page actually has, in its final form, all kinds of snow going on, like you see on the other page there. And, there are ways of doing that snow that, you can, doing it traditional with the look that I want for it, where it's not just white spatter, but I'm actually, going around a lot of the little dots of white to get those snow. Like, that's a pain in the ass. And there are ways that you can do that in Clip Studio that look identical to if you did them on paper. But what takes me 2 hours to do on paper, I can do in like 3 minutes in Clip Studio. So it just makes sense, and even when this is a great case study of it. Even when I'm doing something on paper, a lot of times there will be things that I'm like, yeah, I know I want this in there eventually. And I'll just, stuff that I know digital tricks will work super fast for and save me a lot of headache. So I will, a lot of times, even on a full traditional page, leave certain effects and certain things out that I can add in digitally once it's scanned. So, I am not a purist about either, because to me, I can't remember who I first heard say this, but it was a long time ago. I heard somebody once say, I think it might have been Brian Haberlin. I used to work with him on some stuff a long time ago. And I think it was Brian. That's who I'm going to credit with this. He said that, what matters, the end artwork, the end piece of artwork is the book in somebody's hand. And that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
How you get there is pretty much irrelevant. To him, that's what it was. How you got to the end result was, it's like you get there how you get there. As long as you got a book in the end that is what, something people want to read and it looks good and all that, then there you go. So
and this right here, everybody, even old ass Doc, okay, everybody I know who picked up a tablet and gave it a try, it didn't take them long at all, and they were drawing exactly the same as they were drawing before. Just play with it, and once you realize that undo is so much better than whiteout.
Yes, the undo key is your friend. Now, I will say that with drawing tablets, a lot of it depends on the tablet. Depends on the one you get, because there are a lot more options now than there were when I started using a drawing tablet a long time ago. So, God, man, 20 years ago, I'm using a drawing tablet, and you weren't drawing on the screen. You had a tablet that was down flat on the desk beneath you, and your hand is down here, and your eyes are up here on the screen. And that was, that took a little getting used to, but it really didn't take me long to get used to it, because it didn't feel that different to me than airbrushing. So like with airbrushing, you're not touching the surface. So, your hand isn't up against it. Airbrushing is a really interesting medium because you're actually away from it. You can get close, but there's a lot of back and forth. It's a very different thing. And a lot of the guys who I've known who have really taken to digital came to it from airbrushing and found that something about the two seems to click in people's heads. But nowadays you've got I'm on my tablet here in the shop it's huge. It's a monster of a tablet. It's a Cintiq, big 27-inch HD Cintiq. It's a big screen. And whenever they come out with a bigger one, I'll get it. But there's Wacom. Now Wacom has competitors like XP Pen and Huion, and God, I'm sure there's more of them. And I will personally recommend, of all of the non-Wacom, like Wacom is the best. Okay, Wacom, the WACOM, their tablets are absolutely the top. Nobody can touch them as far as that goes. A Wacom Cintiq is going to be the best drawing tablet you ever put your hand on, but they are expensive. It is stupid. And I'm very happy that they have competitors now, so that hopefully it'll help drive the cost down on them a little bit. Now, the alternative to Wacom that I suggest is XP Pen. And XP Pen just came out with a new 27-inch professional grade tablet that I really want to try one. Because if anything ever happened to my Cintiq, I think the XP Pen 27 would be a good alternative, would be a good backup for the price point. So it's the 27-inch XP Pen is about a third the price of a 27-inch Cintiq. It says first was a Wacom, was only a black pad, switched to an Artist Pro 13-inch. Now those Artist Pro 13s are nice little tablets. It's a decent little tablet. Yeah, I remember the little black pad. It sounds like it was probably an Intuos or one of the later model Intuos tablets. They had a couple of different things like that were supposed to be more economical. I still have an old Intuos 3 tablet sitting on a shelf over in the corner of the shop that I used forever. The thing that I love, one of the things that I love about Wacom stuff is that it's built to last. I mean, it's like you pay a little more for it, but I've never owned a device from Wacom that wasn't working many, many years after I bought it. So I know that the Intuos tablet I have over in the corner, I could pull that thing out. It hasn't been hooked up in probably 6 or 7 years. I know I could pull that out and hook it up to a computer and it's still going to work. There we go. We'll kick back over there for a minute. So $12,565.
Holy crap, we got rated on Pilled and I wasn't looking. Dang it, we got rated. We got a big old raid. What's up, Neo? Thank you. This is Les Garner's art stream. This dude kills it, guys. He is one of the best in indie comics, man. I ain't even bullshitting you. Thank you, Neo, for the shades. Appreciate you. Wow. There's a bunch of people popped in here. We got a bunch of people watching on Pilled right now, Les. Tell them who you are and what you do.
Well, if you are just joining us from Pilled, which I got to confess, I have not even been there to check that site out yet. My name is Les Garner, Les L. Garner. You'll find me signing things that way. And I am an artist and writer doing indie comics. I've been in and around comic books professionally for, Lord, Since 1993. So that would be 32 years. 32, 32 freaking years in this business, man. Lord. But no, I actually stepped aside from comics for a time that turned into about 15, 20-year period. When I stepped out of comics to go into animation. And it was a natural evolution because, mid 90s comic book industry, it took its every decade crap on itself. So about every 10 years, about every 10 years, the whole comic book industry just gets drunk on something and decides to crap and vomit all over itself, and everybody gets dirty. And there's usually a big exodus about every 10 years. And just because, the industry it'll implode. And the implosion in the early mid 90s happened right after I got in, and I just managed to kind of migrate over into advertising and storyboarding and a bunch of different stuff like that. And that grew into me being art director for a few different companies for a while. And then that turned into me opening my own animation studio, which I did 3D modeling and animation. Whew, that was probably 99% of my income from about 1999 through at least 2015, about 2014, 2015 is when I came back to comics. Now, all that time I worked with a lot of folks from comics. I did projects for comic book companies that were non-comic book projects. Like I developed augmented reality apps for different companies. I did animation for a lot of different companies, and I actually got to work with some of my childhood heroes along the way in the weirdest way. One of the biggest ones was I was a technical director, character designer, and lead animator on a bunch of stuff that was written by Alan Grant. That was pretty incredible. Being able to just call up somebody, call up Alan and have a business meeting, and then kind of tack onto that business meeting, hey, remember this Batman story you did, blah 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 blah, blah, or the Alan and I talked about Judge Dredd quite a bit because he worked on Judge Dredd, and that was some cool stuff. At one point I was actually doing an animation that was a Judge Dredd animation, and then my best friend at the time was the director on it, and he passed away, so the project died and never got to get off the ground. But it did have some interesting things going on there. I still have a lot of that material, and maybe one day I'll pull that stuff back up and reach out to some people and see if we can't dust it off and do Tony some justice. There's a great man named Tony Luke. He and I were friends forever. Anyway, I did that stuff for a long time, and then ended up working with Brian Haberlin, which folks who've been in the business a long time will know Brian from Image and Todd McFarlane and Top Cow and things like that. But one day I was chatting with Brian, and I was really bitching about how much I'd like to be doing comics, how much I miss doing comics. And even then I was like, I hate the business, but I love the art form. And he's like, do it. He's like, you should do it. And I was like, you think so? Blah, blah, blah. And I had all these stupid excuses for why I wasn't doing it. And he's like, no, he's like, you should do it. He's like, if anybody I know, you should do it. And, I was like, I don't know. It struck me. I was like, when a guy who is at the level of the game in comics is that says you should be doing comics. Well, you probably should be doing comics.
Yeah.
And that was actually what spurred me to create Apocalypse Girl. and Apocalypse Girl. I took my time and built it and did blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And it eventually, the collected, let's see.
And that's where we get to this question in the chat. Valius wanted to know, do you have any books in store? Is there somewhere he can go pick up stuff?
I am actually working on getting my books and stuff up on a website because I'm ridiculously lazy with that stuff and hate doing web crap. But I despise it. But stay tuned. I think we've got some announcements that are going to hit with that kind of stuff before too long. That's actually one of the things I think is going to be dropped, a tidbit that's going to be dropped on May 31st in Knoxville. Because I think Apocalypse Girl may be finding itself a new home. So, but I do believe that you can pick it up on Amazon. Like, yeah, I think you can still get the trade paperback on Amazon. Whatever. And if you can't, if you message me privately, I'll hook you up because I have about 150 copies left.
Oh, so, I gotta have one. You should never told me that. I gotta have one. Put one aside.
Yeah, all the floppies. I can tell you right now, the floppies of the 6 issues that were Apocalypse Girl. There are no number 1s left. Those have been gone for a couple of years, maybe longer.
You have to go beg somebody to give that up. You have to beg somebody.
Yeah. No, number 1s are gone. I mean, I think I have like 2 of them, and I ain't letting them go.
Yeah.
Then I have a handful of copies of 2 through 6, but not many. Like I've got a short box that has the Apocalypse Girl floppies in it. And that box is maybe half full. And I just, every once in a while somebody calls me up, and their messages me looking for them. And I'm like, yeah, here you go. Here's a couple, So, but yeah, you can find that stuff out there. I've done, let's see, there was a Reign of Dracula, and I have a handful of copies of that. What else? Good Lord, I've done so much in the last couple of years that it's just, and there's a lot. I mean, probably the last year's worth of work that I've done actually hasn't come out yet because people are holding on to it and waiting until they've got, whatever reason. Everybody has different reasons for the timing when they publish things. So, because I can tell you, since in the last 18, 19 months, I think I've done over 600 pages of artwork. So. And I wasn't doing that just for my health. I was getting paid for most of that. So, stuff coming out soon. We've got this new company called Resolute Bliss. They're some good guys, and they have had me doing a lot of stuff for them, and I'm very happy with them. Just finished out. I was talking about it earlier. A book called Paradox. Then I am. Working on issue number 2 right now of a Wizard of Oz themed book called Oz, the Nightmare in Emerald. And that's a special book. I'm very, very happy with that. I got to consult with them on the story to it, and there are some things worked into the story that are real special to me. So I think that's going to be I know that is a special book. The Oz book that I'm doing and it's a big deal for me because I've always loved the Wizard of Oz. So that's kind of a cool one. So
I just got to thank Neil again, dude, because everybody's still here watching.
Yeah.
Everybody who jumped in is still here. And so look, guys, this is what it's all about. Les is one of the best artists in our network. When I first met Les a long time ago, it was like, this guy's killer, his art's killer. I just loved it. There came a point when I was like, hey, man, you got to do a show on the network. You got to.
I think me and Pops first met actually back when I was first promoting Apocalypse Girl, like some years ago.
Long time ago. Yeah. That's what I mean. It was like, finally, it was like, man, dude, if you're going to start streaming, you got to do it here. You got to come out here and show people what you do, because it's amazing. And if you're not following Les he's on YouTube. I know people, we hate YouTube. I hate YouTube too. But he is over there. Sirius X on YouTube. He's on Facebook. He's on X. He's all the places you can find him, you know. If you want to commission work, or if you just want to check out what he's doing, or pick up one of them books that he was talking about. If you can't find him, hit me up. I will hook you up, no doubt.
Best place to find me typically is going to be on Facebook. I know that's like Boomerland and all that stuff, but you know, Facebook Messenger primarily is like the easiest way to reach me. It's because it works. So
yeah.
It works. It's simple. I'm old and I don't want to have to bother learning new stuff. I do have Discord, and I do have my own Discord channel that I don't think has had any activity on it in like years. But you know, that's Discord is it's another one of those things. It's like I have it because everybody says I need to have it, but you know. But if you want to get with me on Discord, you can. You might have to catch me somewhere else and say, "Hey, let's hop on Discord," and then you can go on there. Yeah, I know, right? Like, to me, it's just, oh God, more apps.
Now I'm going to put the twist on the story. Not all that long ago, Les had a stroke that wiped out his left side, and this dude still persevered, kept arting, developed ways to have a left hand, although he didn't have a left hand, so to speak. You know what I mean? He developed foot pedals that moved the pages for him so he could keep drawing. All kinds of stuff that this guy innovated to continue to do what he does. And as you can see, there was no effect to what he lays down on paper. You know, I mean, the dude is an amazing artist. And one of my favorite stories about Les is when he was in the emergency room, and the nurses were jostling him around after he had his stroke, and he's like,
sticking the tubes in. I'm like, ma'am, could you try and not shake me? I got an iPad on my knee. I'm sitting there doing page layouts, the book Homestead, which if you're looking for books, you can go look up Homestead, Les Garner, and pick that one up. But I was doing layouts for Homestead as they were putting me in the hospital on my iPad. And the lady kind of shakes me. I looked there, I was like, ma'am, can you try not to shake me so much? She goes, what are you doing? I was like, what is that? I was like, I'm working. She's like, you're working. You know, and they're literally putting the tubes and crap in me to admit me to the hospital for having a double stroke. She's like, you're working? I'm like, yeah, somebody's going to pay for this shit. So yeah, I kept going the whole time they were putting me in, and actually doing what I do was what kept me sane. I was in the hospital 6 weeks, and this is what kept me sane the whole time.
And that's what I mean. It was like when he told me that story, I was like, this dude is that dedicated that he wasn't freaked out in the emergency room that he just had a stroke or anything like that. He was working. And he was telling the nurse, chill out. I'm trying to get some work done over here.
Oh, it was good times.
It just amazed me. You know, I was like, yeah, those are the kind of people I want to promote. The people that are like me that are going to work through anything, right? Look, guys, for those of you on Pill that don't know, I've been doing this network for about almost 3 years, and I've been doing what I do, promoting people, for about 5 years. And you can go back and look at my history, and you won't see very many days off. I do what I do every day, you know, and it's that kind of perseverance. That's the way I see Les. I don't see him taking a day off ever. Even when he's not drawing, he's still working somewhere in the realm.
being in Louisville this past weekend with my in-laws, that was great. Because I love my in-laws. They're great people. But sometimes, you know, just the family things, the celebrations, all the commotion. I am very much trained into having my cave where I go and I work, and this is, you know, the solitude of it is very. It's nice. I enjoy that. I love people. Don't get me wrong, but I want to be around them at certain times in certain ways. And, you know, after a while, I need to like get away from it and go do my thing. So, you know, actually the pages you're looking at right there were done over this past weekend while I was with the family. And I just, at one point, I just kind of, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm going to step away for a little bit. I'll be back. And I step off and go to the basement. And it was really cool, actually. My sister-in-law's son is moving out. And there was some open space in the basement and a desk left there. And I was like, this is perfect. And I just chilled out in the basement. I brought supplies and stuff to work with, and chilled out in the basement and just started burning out pages, man. There were these, and then this I really liked how this came out. There's this 2-page spread right here that I've got a funny way that I tape my pages together. Like I don't trim the paper, and I tape the overlap together so that they can actually fold up and go into a portfolio. Because otherwise, transporting and taking care of 2-page spreads is actually quite annoying.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's that 2-page spread. So, super happy with that stuff. That was fun to do. And I think that was being done while the family was having pancit palabok. So, my in-laws are Filipino. So,
that's right. That's right.
That's right.
My sister lived in the Philippines for 8 years.
Nice.
She was in the service.
I
Maybe longer than that. I don't quite remember. But she was down there, and she was in the Navy, and she was assigned to a F-18 squadron that was down there.
I know one of the largest comic book shows in the world happens in Manila. And there are some people who I work with who are trying to make arrangements for me and the wife to go with them to Manila this year. So that should be interesting.
Now that would be awesome.
Oh yeah, man. It's funny because it was kind of, I think, destined that I was going to end up with someone from the Philippines, because like every time I turned around, there was Filipino stuff around me. One of my favorite artists from back in the 90s was Will Sportatio, who is Filipino. Mm-hmm. And then Brian Haberlin, who I worked with, has a deep connection to the Philippines. He actually did a book with Wills called Stone that was based in Filipino mythology. Then, 20 some odd years of martial arts. Well, my teacher, my sensei, did a lot of his early days of martial arts in the Philippines. He's an American guy, but he was in the Philippines, and his wife was Filipino. And so like there was just everywhere I turned, it was just bound to happen. And then, after I got divorced and I'm kind of, being a lonely old art fart and looking around and like, well, yes, I better come out into the world and start doing this thing again. And I happened into my lovely wife. So, excuse me.
It's awesome. We still got a bunch of people watching out Pilled, so they like what you're doing, Les. I'm just saying.
Appreciate it. Normally when noon hits, I'm like, I'm out. But
yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Valius TV said you get nice layouts. I appreciate that. I put a lot of thought into my layouts, actually.
And I did forget. There's stuff that you did with Dirk Manning that you
Yes.
guys can get. Homestead. You can go.
Yep.
I'm sure you can still get that. That's available. Les has done a lot of good stuff, guys. I'm just saying. I gravitate to the power, and this dude, there's power in this dude's pencils.
Oh man. Well, I've got a lot of things coming up too. So like right now, of course, we're coming down into the closing. We're at 70 hours left on Brides, which I'm stoked about this. It's not a project that I've like labored over for years, like with Apocalypse Girl, but this thing is a very special project on a lot
This
of
one
levels.
came to life pretty quick. I remember you having the idea, I think, on a show.
Yeah, it actually began with a drawing on this show.
Yeah.
And because one of my problems with doing a show is I'm like, what am I drawing this week? Because a lot of clients don't want me drawing their stuff on streams.
Right.
So it's like I've got to figure out what I'm going to be doodling for the next hour. Most of my time is taken up by clients. So I'm like, what am I going to be drawing for an hour that's not for a client? And I was like, screw it. I'm going to start drawing the Bride of Frankenstein. And then it just turned into a thing. And the story that I came up with ties in deeply to the rest of the horror universe that I have in mind. And Brides, like, I didn't know that I needed this book until I started writing it. And once I started writing it, I was like, holy crap, this is the launch point for all my horror books. And I didn't even know that I needed one. But yeah, it's this first one is 40 pages long. And I'm very interested in seeing how this works out. I kind of have this hybrid sort of mindset about comics these days where I'm like, well, if I go ahead and I devote time to doing a 150-page graphic novel, that's a lot of time to sink into a book.
Right.
But I really am of the belief that floppies are pretty much dead. And I came into the thought, I was like, well, what if I did the serialized story, that is the model for comics forever, but did it in a little bit larger format. So we did, doing like a 40 to 48 page book that is a novella that's basically 1/3 of the graphic novel. So Brides will come out, we've got number 1 right here. Then numbers 2 and 3 will both also be 40 to 48 pages. And then once those are all done, the whole thing will come out as a bound graphic novel. So I'm curious to see. So far it's proving to be correct that going with a larger book that has a complete story but ties into other books. Like I feel like there's a strong format, that this opens up that kind of bridges the gap between traditional floppies and graphic novels. So that's what this is. Once Brides closes, the guys at Resolute Bliss are launching, or they might have already launched Paradox. And I know we're doing a party for Brides and Paradox at Nirvana Comics in Knoxville on the 31st. Then we've also got, coming soon, probably within about a month of the close of Brides, I'll be launching the Kickstarter for Dr. Van Meter's Forbidden Cthulhu Tarot. It's a tarot deck that also has a story to it, has this whole big thing. That's a whole other ball of wax that I'll be promoting. Then I have another project after that will be launching that is actually a coloring book.
And that's cool because I actually have a couple of coloring books from over the last few years. Coloring books are cool, guys. Just saying, they're cool.
I think the coloring book that I've got lined up, I'm not going to reveal too much about it because somebody will swipe the name and scoop me on it. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's not my normal stuff. It's cute. It's really cute. It is Lovecraftian, but cute. Sweet. And oddly enough, ties into the tarot deck, which also ties into brides. Like all of this stuff that's, whether it's comics or what, it all goes together. Like I recently finished the first, you'll hear this name a lot with my stuff. You hear the name Dr. Van Meter, Dr. Horace Van Meter. He's kind of like the central character in my horror worlds. And even though he doesn't show up in Bride's issue number 1, he will show up eventually in the first Bride's graphic novel. And a lot of stuff hinges off this character. And he actually figures into the coloring book, which is so hilarious. Like,
see, look, that's the way Slaughterville is. That's the way Chris has his stuff. He's got a tabletop game, RPG, graphic novels, actual novels. It all is part of one big freaking universe, right?
That's so much fun to do. I mean,
yeah.
I've got the first novel about Van Meter was finished. I think I finished that 2 months ago, something like that. Two and a half months ago. 66,000 word novel. I have to go back through now and do some edits and polish on it a little bit, but the hard part is done. So there'll be the novel coming. Then other books, other comics coming that I'm on are, of course, Paradox, which I've talked about a couple times. Oz, the Nightmare in Emerald. There's an old public domain character called the Heap, who is straight up what Marvel and DC both ripped off for Man-Thing and Swamp Thing. And I am doing, for Resolute Bliss, I'm writing and drawing the Heap, which when they asked me if I'd be interested, I was like, yeah, because you mentioned Bernie Wrightson. Bernie Wrightson is my North Star. I love Bernie like no other artist hardly. And, in my mind, I was like, oh, the Heap. Well, that's probably about as close as I'm ever going to get to doing Swamp Thing. I don't see DC calling me up anytime soon. I mean, if they did, that'd be awesome.
Right.
If they did, I'd be like, okay, I want Swamp Thing. There you go. Swamp Thing, it's mine. It's got my name on it. I need to be on that book. There are very few mainstream comics goals that I have at this point, but I would love a chance to draw, one good Swamp Thing story. Just because, there's Bernie Wrightson. I think Michael Kaluta did some stuff in there. I don't know if do you know if Liam Sharp ever did? Because I know Liam, and I don't think he's ever done. He might have done some Swamp Thing. There was another one I was thinking of. Steve Bissett. Steve Bissett came into Swamp Thing right after Bernie Wrightson. I love him. So there's kind of a school of artists who've worked on Swamp Thing, who I'm kind of in that school of artists. So Swamp Thing would be a really good place for me to go at some point. Let's see. I got a comment here. What's your thought process in developing a page? How do you break it down to not put too much information where the eyes are overwhelmed? Well, if I'm writing it, then it's much easier. Because I have a system that I have for writing a comic where I start with an overview. Like, I'll have a synopsis of my entire story. Then I'll build an outline for the entire story. Like if it's a 150-page graphic novel, I'll build an outline for the entire book. And then I'll take that outline and figure out how that outline breaks down into however many issues I need the series to be. You know, if it's going to be individual issues. Like with Brides, it's 3 40-page books. So that means I go from a traditional outline down to a 3-point outline. And then inside that 3-point outline, I'm able basically to divide the story, which is really nice because I mean, you're literally dividing it into a 3-act play. It's one of the reasons this format works so well creatively, is you're breaking the story down to a 3-act play. And then you've got book 1, book 2, book 3. Boom, boom, boom. Just works out well that way. Then from there, I take act 1 and I start dividing that down. I'll go, okay, how many pages do I have for this book? So I've got 40. And it's almost mathematical. I'll start off going, okay, I have, this is the outline, I'll do another outline, basically an outline of act 1. And then from that outline, say that outline has 5 points. So then I'll look at those 5 points and I'll be like, okay, there's 5 points in this outline. I've got 40 pages in the book. So what's 40 divided by 5? So that means each point of this outline can get roughly 8 pages. So that's where I start. Now, for pacing's sake, some things might need 10 pages. Some might go down to 5 or 6. That's going to wiggle. But at that point, I have a numerical value to assign to each of those points. Then from there, I will write slug lines for each of those points. And then I'll divide it down further. So that then,
have y'all noticed Les doesn't have a short answer to anything?
No, I don't. But I'll divide that down into those points, and so I keep dividing and dividing and dividing until I have a synopsis for each page of the book. Once I have a synopsis for each page of the book, then I look at what, it'll be like page 1. These things need to happen. Okay, well, how many panels do I break that down into? So it's this. It's a really methodical method. I mean, but it works. It guarantees me that I'm going to take my story and get it from whatever giant idea I had, divide it, all the way down until I've got what I need for the page. And at that point, I start drawing, and the hard part's done. I should say the hard part. The hard thinking part is done as far as that stuff goes.
I did want to let everybody on Pilled know, look, I know you guys, you look at our channel and you see different crap all the time. I want you to know that they're all scheduled. They go off at the same time every week. Like this show right here goes off at noon Eastern every Wednesday. You can catch Les over here doing this, and I make sure we pop it up on Pilled. All the shows that you see here are scheduled. They'll be back next week at the same time, unless like Killer Karen is bi-weekly, but they are scheduled shows. You can find our schedule at themeg.tv. And, it's really easy. You can see everything that we're doing and where to watch it, just like that. Let's tell these people where they can find you. And then I got a bump, bud.
If you go to Facebook to Les Garner Artists, or just look my name up, you can find me. You can plug my name in pretty much anywhere, and I'll come up in some form. The Facebook page of the official page of Les Garner Artist is probably the best place, or my personal Facebook. I'm still very much open there, and of course, right now the best place in the world to get a hold of me is through Kickstarter, through the Kickstarter for Brides. Yeah. So, that's we've crossed 102 backers. Let's see if we can get 103 off stream today. So
I'm looking for 125 before them 70 hours are up. That's my humble prediction is 125 backers. Let's see if we can do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see us get a nice little bump at the end. So, yeah. Well, folks, I think I've gone way over what I normally do, but it's just because we had some interaction and some good questions and things from Mr. Valious TV. So Thank you very much for that. I think we're about done, and I think I got lunch waiting for me somewhere.
And I really want to thank all the people that popped in on Peeled from Neo's Raid and hung out and listened to what was up and seen Wes's art. This is awesome. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back later tonight with I think First Impressions tonight. You know, those guys that pick an album they've never listened to before, and then they come out and they tell you their impression of it. Ed and Dash, they've been out here like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, something like that. I don't know. Well, they'll be here. Y'all have a great day.
All right.
Peace
out, yo.
Let's see.
Later, y'all.
Oh, yeah, one more thing. Right there. Crom's not invited. Dante versus Mr. Fringe this Saturday at Pine View Golf Club in Three Rivers, Michigan. It's going down. Mr. Fringe versus Dante's Inferno on the links. You're not going to want to miss this, guys. We're definitely going to be filming this. We're going to have some fun. And we'll pop into the draw stream on Saturday live from the links as well. So check it out. We're going to have some good time up in here. And then Hall of Heroes Comic-Con on Sunday in Elkhart, Indiana. Mr. Fringe and I, Pops Van Sant, will be there. It'll be a good time. So there you have it, people. We got stuff coming up. Les got stuff coming up over there in Knoxville. Don't miss that. It's all action around the madness, people. Just hang out. We got more coming.
Later, folks.
Created to be the bride of Frankenstein, patchwork woman built from flesh, haunted by her impulsive nature, starving for something more, suffering from the aftermath of her uncontrollable impulses. She believed becoming a vampire would make her whole, and in the darkness of the deep Carpathian night, the brides were waiting. Brides is a gothic horror graphic novella, a story of bloody ambitions, broken bodies, and a woman who dares to remake herself. 40 pages of handcrafted art and sorrow, expanded to 64 with your help, variant covers, sculpted collectibles, and one beautiful, tragic monster you'll never forget. Won't you join me in reimagining classic gothic horror by backing the relaunch of Brides here on Kickstarter?
Hi, this is Eddie Deason. Listen to the Madness Group, the greatest podcast on radio. I love the podcast. The Madness Group is my favorite show. I listen to it all the time. This is Eddie Deason saying hi on behalf of the Madness Group.